So Republic Act 9262, or also known as Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Obws Act of 2004. So by the way, what is BAUC? So it is referred to any act or series of acts committed by any person against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom the person has or had a sexual or dating relationship, or with whom he has a common child, or against her child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, within or without the family abode, which result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or economic abuse, including threats of such act, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. So children are those below 18 years of age or older but are incapable of taking care of themselves, as stated in RA 7610. It includes biological children of the victim and other children under her care. So what is dating relationship? So when you see dating relationship is one which has a romantic involvement. It means that a relationship existed between a woman and a partner who is abusive or has previously abused her, whether or not the relationship was formal. So sexual relations refers to a single sexual act which may or not result in the bearing of a common child. So seeks to address the prevalence of violence against women and their children, Obws, by their intimate partners like husband or ex-husband, live-in partner or former live-in partner, boyfriend or girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and also dating partner or former dating partner. So BAUC includes but is not limited to the following acts. So first, physical violence. So refers to the act that include bodily or physically. Then next, sexual violence refers to an act which is sexual in nature committed against a woman or her children. So 2A, rape, sexual harassment act of lasciviousness, treating a woman or her child as a sex object, making demeaning and sexually suggestive remarks, physically attacking the sexual parts of the victims, body forcing the victim to watch obscene and publications and indecent shows, or forcing the woman or her child to do indecent acts and or make films thereof, forcing the wife and mistress, lover to live in a conjugal home or sleep together in the same room with the abuser. Point B, act causing or attempting to cause the victim to engage in any sexual activity by force, threat of force, physical or other harm, or threat of physical or other harm or coercion. And 2C, prostituting the woman or her child. The next is the psychological violence. When we see psychological violence, it is referred to an acts or omissions causing or likely to cause mental or emotional suffering of the victim, such as but not limited to intimidation, harassment, stalking, damage to property, public ridicule or humiliation, repeated verbal abuse, and marital infidelity. It includes causing or allowing the victim to witness the physical, sexual, or psychological abuse of a member of the family to which the victim belongs, or to witness pornography in any form, or to witness abusive injury to pets, or unlawful or unwanted deprivation of the right to custody and or visitation of a common children. The next is the economic abuse. So when we see economic abuse, it is refers to acts that makes or attempt to make a woman financially dependent, These include, but it is not limited to, the following: withdrawal of financial support or preventing the victim from engaging in any legitimate profession, occupation, business, or activity, deprivation of financial resources, and the right to conjugal community or property owned in common, destroying household property or controlling the victim own money or properties. So, who gets protected under the law? So, the law recognizes the unequal relations between a man and woman. And in an abusive relationship where the woman is usually at a disadvantage, thus, the law protects the woman and her children. The victim child, who is a minor or legitimate and illegitimate, and a person aged 18 years and above or beyond, who doesn't have the ability to decide for herself or himself because of an emotional, physical, and mental illness, can make full use of the law. Any child under the care of a woman is also protected under the law. So what can women and children do under RA 9262? So under the law, the offended party may file a criminal action or apply for protection order either as an independent action or as an incident in civil or criminal action and other remedies. So is espousal committed by men alone? So women can also be liable under the law. These are the lesbian partners or girlfriends or former partners of the victim with whom she has or had a sexual or dating relationship. Then what if the male or spouse or partner complains about abuses committed by his wife or partners? So he may file a complaint or case under the revised penal code. Then who may file a complaint under RA 9262? So any citizen having personal knowledge of the circumstances involving the commission of the crime may file a complaint because violence against women and their children is considered a public crime. So where should cases for Bausi be filed? So cases may be filed in the regional trial court designated as a family court of the place where the crime was committed. These courts have the original and exclusive jurisdiction over these cases. So what are the penalties for committing Bausi? So offenders proven in court to be guilty of the crime shall be penalized with: first, imprisonment ranging from 1 month and 1 day to 20 years. The next, payment of 100,000 to 300,000 in damages. The next, mandatory psychological counseling or psychiatric treatment. So what is battered woman syndrome or BWS? So in RE 9262 acknowledges that women who have retaliated against their partner or who commit violence as a form of self-defense may have suffered from battered woman syndrome or BWS. So BWS refers to a pattern of psychological and behavioral symptoms found in battered women as a result of a long history of abuse. Any victim who suffered from BWS should be diagnosed by a psychiatric expert or a clinical psychologist. So this will also help the victim in obtaining a just decision in her case. The law does not allow the offender to have custody of minor children. Their care is still entrusted to the woman even if she is found to have BWS. So what is protection order? So it is an order issued by barangay or the court to prevent further acts of violence against women or her child and to grant other necessary relief under RA 9262. So three kinds of protection order. So number one is the Barangay Protection Order or BPO. Number two is Temporary Protection Order or TPO. Number three is Permanent Protection Order or PPO. So how may apply for protection order? So any one of the following may apply for protection order. So letter A is the offended party, and then B is the parents or guardians of the offended party, and then C, ascendants, descendants, or collateral relatives within the fourth civil degree or consanguinity of affinity, and then D, officers of social workers of the DSWD or LGUs, and letter E, police officer, preferably those in charge of women and children's deaths, and letter F, punong barangay of the barangay or the barangay kagawad, and then G, lawyers, counselors, therapists, healthcare providers of the petition or the petitioner. Then the last is at least two concerned citizens of the city or municipality where Bausi happened and who have personal knowledge of offense committed.